Xbox On. Welcome to Xbox On, a podcast with one host about one console, Xbox. I'm said host Jesse DeRosa, and on today's episode, we'll be talking about the latest Xbox news for the week of October 16th, 2025, including Battlefield 6 is here and it's so much fun to play. Rumors about the end of Xbox hardware won't shut up and it's annoying. People should just play Battlefield 6 instead. Screenshots of Rare's canceled Everwild emerge online, and more. Don't worry about this week in Xbox history. I got things to do. It's a busy day for me. But Jay Sevier does start us off and say, it's Friday night. It's Friday. I've got the whole day off to play Battlefield 6. Life is good. Now, of course, that was last week on Friday. However, I just wanted to read that to get the episode started because that's a good vibe. That's a good sentiment. I think that's something we can all relate to. Listen, if it's an Xbox podcast, I think that there's one thing that we can all, commemorate or not commemorate, or, if there's one thing we can all be in agreement on and reminisce about together, it's those good times at Xbox, not the ones where the hardware is about to go extinct or they're raising the price on the subscription service or everyone's mad at the company, but rather the ones where Halo 3 is coming out, Battlefield 6 is coming out, Gears of War 2 is coming out, whatever it is, the game that gets you super hyped and it makes you look forward to doing nothing but sitting your butt on your couch and playing your Xbox. And boy, oh boy, it's one of those weeks, isn't it? Guys, welcome to episode 333 of the Xbox On podcast. I love that number. It's just so many threes. Notable game releases of the week. Let's talk about this for a second. The two big things happening here. So, notable game release, Keeper, which is an Xbox first-party game developed by Double Fine, the guys, Tim Schafer, the guys that do Psychonauts, of course. This is their new indie-style game. They're not that they're an indie developer, they're a first-party developer, but it's an indie-style game. It's that game that they showed during the summer showcase. We haven't seen a whole lot of it, really. What you play is that anthropomorphic lighthouse with the dodo bird or whatever it is that follows you around, and I really don't know what to make of this game. It looks like it's some kind of adventure 2D side-scrolling game, and I think it looks charming and interesting and quaint, and I want to play it myself personally. It's definitely on my list of games to get to that are releasing this fall, so I definitely, it's Double Fine. If they make a game, I'm interested. They're a pretty great developer. I always dabble in whatever they're working on, so I definitely look forward to trying out Keeper, although I like how they kind of kept this one under the radar. I don't know if it's like it wasn't showing well and people weren't responding or what, but they just kind of like announced it not too long ago, didn't talk about it too much, and now it's just kind of quietly coming out. And of course, it is available on all your other favorite Xbox platforms like PC and PlayStation 5 as well, but of course, I'll be playing it on Xbox Series consoles. But just want to throw that out there. Of course, if you're subscribed to Game Pass, it's a day one title for you guys, so there's that as well. But the other thing coming out this week, which is definitely worth noting, so Keeper comes out on Friday, the 17th. But the day before, on the 16th, Thursday, the day this podcast goes live, the Xbox ROG Ally SX, whatever the fuck they're calling it, is officially out. The Xbox Ally and the Xbox Ally X. So if you haven't pre-ordered yet, get your pre-orders in, boys and girls, and let's be honest, boys and boys, because, by the time this podcast goes live and you're listening to it, the ROG Xbox Ally is already out. Again, I'll reiterate, not to be negative or anything like that. I don't personally give a shit about this. I don't view this as like a true Xbox first-party hardware device. So, like, to me, this isn't like super exciting or a big moment to me. Or it is technically a big moment, but it's in more of a disappointing way than an exciting one. And so this isn't for me, but I recognize that there are people out there in the Xbox community who are deeply excited about this device, and for those people, awesome. I hope this is a great weekend for you. Fucking around with your Xbox Ally. Let me know how running Battlefield 6 on this thing goes. That'd be an interesting thing to see about. I'll be watching YouTube content and stuff on this device because I'm curious what people's impressions and thoughts are on it. I'm curious what it looks like when like average Joe people have it and can unbox and fuck around with it, and not just like your iJustines and people like that of the world. So I do look forward to learning more about this device, but I just, from what all we've known and seen, it's not a device for me. And judging by the price tag, it's really not a device for most people, but nonetheless, it is pretty notable that it's here. It kind of snuck up on us, right? Maybe at least for me, because aside from the times we have to talk about this for the sake of the show, I've just been kind of ignoring and avoiding the Xbox Ally, hoping that it would go away, but no, it's here. here's your unofficial Xbox handheld device that you're getting in place of your dedicated Xbox handheld. But anyway, we'll talk about hardware in a little while. Guys, we're going to just jump straight into the news this week because a couple reasons. A little behind the scenes. Actually, I'm recording the show a day early on Tuesday the 14th. And that's because I have a work trip. So on Wednesday morning, I had to fly out to Missouri for a couple days for a work-related function, and I will not be home in time to record and do the podcast as usual. So if there is any big news that was missed because something happened on Wednesday, just know it's because while that news was going on, I was in a fucking corporate office listening to someone tell me about why for people who don't know, I work for Tic Tac. The mint company. So, we talk about, how many Tic Tacs we should put in a pack of a little package of mints, and where they should go at the end caps of in registers at grocery stores. And so, got lots of important stuff to do with the greater Tic Tac corporate community. And so I'll be doing that this week, but rest assured, I'm excited about traveling because, well, one, my company's flying me out, so I get to fly a nicer airline than Spirit for once because God knows I'm too cheap to fly anything nicer than Spirit. But two, because I get to play my Switch again because my Switch has suddenly become my flight device. Because if I'm home, I want to play Battlefield 6. But if I'm on the road, I'll bring that Switch 2 with me. Hell yeah! So I'm looking forward to that. But anyway, that's just a little briefing as to, one, why the show's going to be a little lighter on news, two, why it's going to be a little different in format. It's late on Tuesday and I got a bunch of shit I got to get to, so I just don't have that much free time right now, but I am excited to spend about an hour or so chatting with you guys about a little bit of Xbox news and a lot of it about Battlefield 6, a game that is eating up every fucking ounce of my brain energy right now because I'm having such a great time playing it. So let's get into a couple news stories. Got some interesting stuff to discuss here, no doubt, but only about 4 or 5 stories, and then we'll talk about Battlefield 6. So what do you say about that? All right, let's kick it off. So let's talk about this persistent rumor that I really don't want to get into, but it just won't go away. So let's address it. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but this is the VGC write-up. Microsoft has denied claims that U.S. retailers, including Target and Walmart, have started removing Xbox products from their shelves. User Reddit Jawad127 posted a message on the gaming Reddit page earlier this week that claimed that they worked for Target and that their store was no longer selling Xbox games. They posted a chain reaction of this post started a chain reaction of similar claims and speculation over the weekend, where alleged Target and Walmart stores were noting similar chains with the stocking of Xbox. Reddit user Code E1985 posted on the Xbox Reddit page that a couple hours after that first post, showing empty shelves at their local store, saying same thing, that they were moving away from Xbox. But former IGN video editor Destin Legary questioned these claims, sparking a line saying that he called his local stores Walmart and Target, and neither of them heard anything about Xbox products being removed from their store shelves. In addition to that, former Xbox Live director and programming Larry Major Nelson Herb, who you might remember, who left the company only a few years ago, posted online, said, "All I know is I went to a couple Target and GameStop stores this week and did find Xbox hardware and games for sale." So now Microsoft has had to respond to the statement because there's so much chatter online about it that they're coming out and denying these claims, stating that Target and Walmart are continuing to sell Xbox products, saying Target and Walmart, quote, "are among other retailers remain committed partners for Xbox consoles, accessories, and games," the company told Windows Central in a statement when they reached out for comment. And then it is important to note this is kind of on the back of news from last week, which was that Sam's Club and Costco, these wholesale clubs, were trying to fire sale their remaining Xbox stock because they were discounting them heavily, or at least Costco was in store, maybe not online, but it was in store, and apparently they were going to stop selling them. So that one seems to be more so the case where Costco is actually backing away from Xbox, which it kind of makes sense in the sense that not that they're saying not that Xbox hardware is going away, but in the sense that these wholesale clubs, their whole thing is based on selling, highly sought after items or bulk items at good deals, and shelf space is highly precious. So to be selling something that isn't moving the needle, I mean, it's common to see things come and go from wholesale clubs. They don't always stick around forever as often as you see as in a traditional supermarket like a Walmart or a Target. So that one doesn't surprise me as much, but it is definitely cause for concern when you have Nintendo Switch 2 and PlayStation 5 at Costco, but not Xbox. So that is a problem, no doubt. But this idea that the issue has expanded to some of the most notable, highly trafficked big box stores like Walmart and Target, it's just nonsense. And I will say anecdotally, I stopped by Target today on my way home from work, not because I wanted to check on this, but because I had to pick up some other items for the home. And while I was there, I did the same thing I do every time I go to the grocery store or every time I go to Target, which is take a lap past the toy aisle and the video game aisle, because even though I'm 30 years old, I will always get excited about walking past toys and video games when I go to the grocery store. So I did that, and I will say Florida is a horrible place to, horrible test bed for this kind of thing, because I live in like Disney World tourist Brazilian corridor fucking USA where nothing makes sense and every day is Black Friday. So just like every day for the 7 years I've lived here, the shelves were completely wiped out and nothing was in stock. But that being said, they did have Xbox like shelf space, it's just the usual where it's like, I mean, it's this dude. Like, I mean, I've lived here for this long, and it's always been like this. You go to the Nintendo Switch aisle, and there's like one Switch for sale, and there's like an off-brand controller, and there's a copy of like, fucking like Ubisoft Pet Adventures, but then like everything else is cleared off like it's Black Friday. And then the PlayStation aisle has like a third-party controller, a $30 card for PlayStation Plus for 3 months, and then like a copy of like, fucking Roller Coaster Tycoon. And then the Xbox aisle has a third-party controller and a discounted copy of like Rise Son of Rome with a sticker on it that says works on Series X or something. It's what I'm used to seeing. So everything looked absolutely normal for me when I went to Target today, but I just thought I'd throw that in there, just to add my old anecdotal experience. But I don't think the big box stores like Walmart, like Target, are moving away. I don't think you're going to go into a Best Buy or a GameStop anytime soon and see Xbox just missing. I don't think we're getting there yet. I do think we will get there, but we'll get there about all the platforms eventually. But yes, I'm sure Xbox will be the one that gets there first. I just don't think that's what this is. I think people are honestly doing a little bit of that, like capitalizing on some hysteria online and trying to use it to get some attention and build some clout and get some Reddit. What do they call it? Reddit streak or Reddit score? Karma. People are trying to get some Reddit karma. They're farming it. Again, I don't want to linger on this too long. I have nothing to say. I just think this is nonsense. I don't think that's what we're seeing here. And if it is, God bless you. What a horrible time to do this. You just released the Xbox ROG Ally, so it'd be a really bad time to stop selling Xbox hardware in stores. So hopefully that's not the case. But also, on the flip side, we got a lot of news this week about future Xbox hardware. So YouTube channel Moore's Law is Dead, who does a lot of next-gen hardware speculation and leaking and stuff, posted a new video about next-gen Xbox hardware. And here's the VGC write-up. We're basically just going to read pretty much all of it, most of it, about 85% of it, because I'm not, I'm a very much a layman with this tech stuff, so we just need someone else to say the words, and then we can talk about it after that for a bit. So here's the write-up. It says, the next Xbox console may be more powerful than the PlayStation 6, but will also be more expensive as a result of that. Now, that's according to a new report from Moore's Law is Dead on YouTube, who recently posted a video showing that what he claims to be the main processor for an Xbox's next console. The AMD Magnus APU. An APU combines a CPU and a GPU onto a single chip, and this will be the largest one ever used on a games console, according to the YouTuber, who claims that it will be 46% larger than the one on the PlayStation 6. A pretty big bump. The report claims that as a result, the next Xbox will likely be more powerful than a PS6, but will naturally cost more money as a consequence. The reason for this, according to Moore's Law is Dead, is that, as per previous speculation, Microsoft is reportedly positioning the next Xbox to be a hybrid system capable of not only playing games on the Xbox store, but also PC games on other storefronts. Quote, it should be stronger than a PS6, but at the same time, it will also be more expensive because of its larger size and its use of the bridge. Because of its larger size and its use of bridge dies and likely a larger RAM capacity compared to PS6, at least if it wants to work well as a PC console hybrid, stressing that this doesn't Moore's Law is Dead doesn't know confirmed specs and clock speeds for the Magnus APU. He did state that if Microsoft pushed it to its limits, he thinks that it would end up notably faster than PlayStation 6. However, even in extreme scenarios, I don't think it will be more than about a third faster than a PS6 console. Noting the differences in general leaps, and he knows this stuff because he's also done plenty of leaks and deep dives into rumored and speculated specifications for PlayStation 6 hardware. Now, noting that differences in general leaps in production, however, are ever diminishing returns, he adds, don't forget that even in an extreme situation, the next-gen Xbox, though faster, is probably less of a difference than even Xbox One X to PS4 Pro. So most true console gamers probably won't care if they're gaming on a big TV or on a couch. Further leaning into the console hybrid claim, he suggests that the main difference in power between both systems will probably be more noticeable on a monitor than on an actual TV. He says, quote, on average, I do expect Xbox Magnus to basically be more premium version of the same performance you get from a PS6. For example, if I give a PS6 game running 4K 120 FPS with ray tracing on, and of course it would have FSR4 or something to get there, I would suspect Magnus would do, instead of doing 4K 120 FPS, do like 4K 144 FPS. Like it could do 20% higher frame rates, which doesn't make a big difference on a TV screen, but does matter if you're gaming on a monitor or at a desk, which Magnus will be more meant for than PlayStation 6. So yeah, that's how I look at Magnus versus PS6. Roughly same performance, but we'll give PC gamers stuff that they would appreciate, that could outperform a PS6, but probably only in scenarios that PC gamers would care about. Elsewhere in the video, it predicts that the new Xbox console will likely be about $800 to $1,200 US. He states that he is excited about its potential not only to produce the best performance of a console on console games, but also to force PC companies to start lowering prices on OEM pre-built computers, as this will be kind of in their price range. Now, a lot of OEM pre-built computers used to be around about $1,000 or so, but prices have surged up a lot the past couple of years. In fact, the pre-built PC I have was pretty beefy in 2021 when I bought it, but now this same thing costs like $400 to $600 more. I mean, I bought this PC for like $1,000, and I think it's like $1,500. The current version of this same PC is like $1,500 or $1,600 now. It's crazy. Anyway, he wraps up by saying this is going to be viewed, I believe, as a cost-optimized mass production device that can potentially put OEMs and pre-built PCs overcharging or stop them from overcharging for gaming desktops. For example, let's say that Asus wants to sell you a pre-built PC with an RTX 4070 for $2,500. How could they possibly get away with something like that if Xbox's console runs some version of Windows 11, actually has an RTX 5080 or better, and possibly around a 5090 with ray tracing performance for way less? Well, the answer is that Asus won't be able to get away with that for more money if there's an Xbox hybrid console that costs $1,200 or heck, even $1,500. This will spank OEMs and keep their prices at their greed in check, which is good for PC gamers. So I love the idea that the next Xbox could be the perfect PC console hybrid. I love this because I would love to buy the all-powerful Series X version of this device and hook it up to my desk and have my Xbox PC be at my desk where I can play PC games and console games and everything all in one, and then have a cheaper, dockable, handheld Nintendo Switch-like version to replace the Series S that I can have downstairs in my living room for when I just want to play some Call of Duty or game on the couch with my girlfriend or have people over and use the Xbox as a media device. It would be wonderful, but unfortunately Xbox is leading in the direction of the fucking ROG Ally, so this dream is not going to be fully realized. It does appear that way. However, it's just interesting that in this week we have all these rumors and reports about what next generation Xbox hardware is going to be, while at the same time we're hearing Xbox is dead, their hardware is being removed from shelves, just give up all hope and go home. So it's like, what's the truth here, man? Now, I think it's worth noting, of course, that these plans for Xbox, however true or however much they've changed since people like Moore's Law is Dead got their hands on these plans, it's true that things are always changing at Microsoft, and that one day they'll announce something and confirm something, and then the next day plans will change and something will get canceled or moved around. And so just because these things may or may not be true today doesn't mean that these products are coming to fruition in a year or two. But if all that is reported and rumored is to be believed, this device is something that Microsoft is internally planning on having on store shelves available for consumers to purchase in about a year and a half. So, less than 2 years in 2027. So, man, here's hoping they can figure it out and justify sticking around for at least one more generation of hardware, because I want this device. I want to see Xbox fully realize their pivot, because they've gone way too far to go back. Like the number one thing I want from Xbox the most, if they could do anything and get away with it, would be to just walk back the past, 10 years of Xbox decision making and be like, hey, we're going to keep being a console manufacturer that makes exclusive games, and maybe they bought Bethesda, but they stopped there and didn't get Activision or something. And then you have stuff like Indiana Jones and Starfield be exclusive to Xbox, but you don't bring these games to PlayStation, and you have all the Xbox first-party output, and you better manage your studios so you don't have to cancel Everwild and cancel Perfect Dark, and you can put those games out, and they can do well and garner an audience, and you can compete with PlayStation with your awesome first-party output, and you don't have Game Pass, and you don't have a subscription model. People just buy your games a la carte, they appreciate them, you make good money, and you compete with PlayStation the good old-fashioned way. That's how I'd love for it to be, but I know it can't be that way, so they have to keep pivoting. They've gone too far down this road. You can't get away from Game Pass. You can't take it back. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. So at this point, if they have to keep doing this hybrid thing and publisher-focused thing, then bring it on, man. Give me my fucking Steam box, Xbox, PC console device, and let me fuck around with it, because at the very least, even if it's not my favorite thing in the world, even if it's not exactly what I expect or hope for from Xbox, at least it's something interesting and different and unique, and I would love to figure out how they're going to monetize this, because even if they sell the console at a profit, it's still not enough money over the 6 to 8 year life cycle of a console to justify it, because if you're losing all your money on your subscription service and you're making a little bit of money up at the front with the point of sale of the console, I just don't really see how that's a viable ecosystem worth continuing to invest in and sustain. But we'll see how the future of Xbox goes. All I know is, based on what these reports are from Moore's Law is Dead, who I do recommend you check out on YouTube, it does seem like they're at least currently internally planning on building and releasing a device that is pretty unique, pretty interesting, pretty unlike anything we've ever seen before. And for that alone, it gives me a little bit of silver lining, a little bit of excitement and reinvigoration in the Xbox brand during a time where it's sorely needed, because, God, there's nothing but bad news right now. So I just thought it'd be cool to read that back to back and be like, yeah, Xbox is being pulled from store shelves allegedly, but also here's what your next Xbox looks like. So do with this information what you will. I'm tired of the back and forth on the Xbox is dead stuff. I just want to talk about Battlefield 6, but at least now we can't say we didn't bring this stuff up. So there's that conversation for those who need to hear it. And now let's move on to Halo, because next Friday on the 24th, we're expecting some big Halo news, most probably a from the ground up remake of Halo Combat Evolved. But until that's confirmed, we got some concerning news, always concerning news coming out of Halo Studios, formerly known as 343, where in this case, an art director who's worked on Halo for 17 years has left Halo Studios, posting a curious message suggesting that there was more to his departure than meets the eye. Glenn Israel joined Bungie back when he was working on Halo in 2008, back when they were working on Halo in 2008. Then he moved to 343 Industries in 2010 to continue working on the series. He since served as concept artist and senior concept artist on the games for 17 years, first being credited on Halo 3 ODST. However, in a statement on his LinkedIn page, Israel announced that he was leaving the developer known as Halo Studios, and stating that he would shed more light on the situation in the future, probably meaning when enough time's passed and he's not NDA'd and all that. He says, quote, "As of today, after 17 long years, I'm officially no longer contributing to the Halo universe." His message reads, "There's little more I can say about it for the moment, though I intend to share this particular story in its entirety when it is absolutely safe to do so next year." So again, NDA, so when the time comes, we'll hear about it. In the meantime, I have a message for anyone and everyone who needs to hear it. I know the state of the industry seems dire, but never forget that you are free to choose. No illusion of security nor promise of wealth or fame or power is worth trading away your own health, dignity, ethics, and values, and no one can force you to. Stay strong, take evidence when necessary, and find where you belong. Israel didn't give any further details on what happened to cause his departure, but his message suggests that he will be free to do sometime in 2026. Halo Studios recently announced that it will be hosting a panel on October 24th, next Friday, during the Halo World Championship, where it will take a look at the future of the series. So sounds like something pretty not so great happened there, and that he left on bad terms, which is just so perfect, because despite the kind of soft rebooting of 343 and the naming of Halo Studios and the changing to the Unreal Engine and all the rest and the new hiring of new people, it does seem like the behind the scenes murmurings is that the room is still kind of on fire over at Halo Studios. So of course things are still going bad. And then to add fuel to the fire, this happens. And so it's really unfortunate, man, because I love the idea of a studio that's just dedicated to working on Halo. It's like, hey, if you are passionate about Halo, this is the thing that gets you going. This is our game series we're never going to give up on. We want to attract people specifically who want to contribute and leave their mark on this series. And I just love the existence of a team like that. But it's been so woefully mismanaged and poorly handled that it's just so sad that it just churns people out like this, that people dedicate their lives and are so passionate about being a part of the Halo development team, and then all these people just kind of get spat out. It just honestly just breaks my fucking heart. It's a true testament to what a poorly managed team they are and how much Microsoft have dropped the ball with this team over the years. But I very much look forward to hearing what this guy's experience was at some point next year when he's able to talk about it, because clearly it wasn't a good one, and it does seem like it's probably in line with other things we hear about, which is just that shit's not great over at Halo Studios, and maybe remaking Combat Evolved for the 500th time will be the key to all of our problems, right? Why the fuck should we make a sequel to Halo 5 or Infinite when we could just do Halo 1 again? So I just want to throw that out, that all of that happened. And then finally, to wrap up the news, some screenshots this week did go live, showing the canceled project Everwild, Rare's upcoming game that was canceled a couple months back. So MP First highlighted some images online, which showcase basically UI elements. It shows like this female character in a third-person perspective out in this foresty environment that looks very much like, I don't know, like what game am I looking at and thinking of? Zelda Breath of the Wild meets the concept art we've seen for Everwild, and it just shows like inventory management, all these items, light figments and things like that, mosaics, tools, favorite items, and it looks like some kind of like gardening adventure foresty type experience. This game was reportedly rumored to not have combat of any sort. It was going to be more akin to Viva Pinata as far as like interaction, where there's a lot of gardening and plants and natural interactions, but no combat or violence. And I guess I see that a little clearer looking at these concept art, which I guess I got a little bit of Viva Pinata vibes when one of the pictures just shows this field of grass with an inventory of seeds and figments and tools. So it does look like there's some kind of healing of nature or planting of items or creatures. I don't know if it's like Pikmin meets Viva Pinata meets Breath of the Wild or something, but I guess that's what it looks like I'm staring at here. We still don't know much about what this game was supposed to be. We just know that it was rebooted during its development and that the game's canceled. So I guess we'll never really fully know, but I'd love to see more about this game and learn more about this game because it looked beautiful and it seemed exciting. It just had a really compelling tone and setting from what we saw of it, and I just really lament that this is how things went. Just another fucking Xbox game that got canceled at the hands of poor management from Xbox's leadership. So Everwild, it's too bad we don't get to play it one day, but it is cool to get a little more context for whatever the hell this game might have been based on these screenshots. But guys, with that said, I'm going to take a quick water break. We'll come back and then we'll talk about the news, what I've been playing and all that stuff. All right, guys, let's get into the Battlefield talk. But before I can tell you about what I've been playing this week, I do want to quickly tell you about what it is I've been eating, and I just want to give a real quick shout out to Kroger Delivery. You see, we've been an Aldi family for quite a while, but I've been really flirting with and lingering on this idea of doing Kroger delivery because Kroger is a grocery store we really miss not having here in Florida. But they did come to Florida a couple of years ago, but as a delivery service only. They have like a giant warehouse and you can order Kroger online and they bring your groceries to your house, and they got like this whole intricate robot system in this warehouse that hand picks your groceries and puts it together, and then like a human puts it in a bag and delivers it to your house. Anyway, the only reason we wanted to do this is because Aldi, our go-to grocery store, has just become so fucking popular. The worse the economy gets and the more the Florida population grows, the more insanely difficult it becomes to shop at Aldi, because Aldi is such a small grocery store and Florida people are just so invasive and lack personal space and personal awareness and just cleanliness and human decency. So it's just gotten to a point where I'm like, I really don't want to shop at Aldi anymore, and I can't afford to shop at Publix, and dude, Walmart's here are fucking insane. So I was like, listen, and I told my girlfriend, I was like, I don't care that Kroger delivery, it doesn't really cost a whole lot more. The groceries are pretty comparable, definitely cheaper than Publix, but like Walmart pricing basically for groceries. I was like, I don't care that the pricing is, just kind of a wash or a little more expensive. It's worth it. For $70 a year, you get their subscription to where you get unlimited free deliveries. So every time we order groceries, as long as you spend $30 or more, which good luck getting groceries for less than $30, that you get free delivery. So I'm like, fuck it, we're going to give it a try. They gave us a $50 coupon that you spread out over your first 2 orders. So every, your first 2 orders, you get $25 off, and you get free delivery, whatever, first month's free, and then $70 a year for delivery fees to be waived. And so I'm like, let's fucking do it. So, for less than $50, we got a full week's groceries. I mean, that's because the coupons and stuff to kind of get you in the door. But I'm paying close attention to the prices, kind of comparing it to what we spend at Aldi. I'm like, overall, I feel like we're barely spending any more money on groceries. And in return, dude, it's just so fucking nice getting all your groceries delivered to your house. I love going to the grocery store and shopping. I'm not like a proponent, like one way in which I'm actually very anti my generation, or very different from my generation, is that I'm not the kind of person that likes to Uber Eats or DoorDash or Instacart. I usually don't like that. I like getting out of the house. I like driving. I like going places. I like picking up my own food. I don't like middlemaning services. I feel like this is kind of part of the degradation of society, is like these like fucking 40-year-old people that drive around in beater cars and deliver you your food because you can barely afford to get by. So the only luxury you get is DoorDashing your food, and some other guy struggling to make ends meet, and the only way they can get by is if they pick up a second job delivering you your stupid fucking DoorDash because you're too fat and lazy to get your food yourself. Like, I'm generally like somewhat against these kinds of programs because I just think they don't add a whole lot of convenience to people's lives. They just add more. So they just kind of incentivize us to be worse with our money, to spend more, be lazier, be more sedentary, and just kind of continue to live in our little bubbles where we have to create new problems to solve just because life is otherwise pretty good for us. So generally, I'm kind of anti this stuff. And this decision to do Kroger delivery was born less out of like a laziness kind of thing and more out of a, I just can't stand going to grocery stores in Florida anymore. It's just too fucking chaotic every time you leave the house here. So we've been doing that. And I gotta say, it's pretty fucking nice, and it's spoiling me a little bit because while I don't mind going to the grocery store, like if I can just go to a chill grocery store where people aren't screaming at the top of their fucking lungs and blasting phone calls out of their phone speakers and stuff, and there aren't 8.6 trillion tourists trying to buy all the goddamn sunscreen and Coca-Cola whenever you go to just pick up milk for the week, I would otherwise enjoy my grocery trips because it would be nice to just like, stroll the halls of commerce and pick up your daily, your weekly necessities and enjoy a little outside of the house kind of air in that thing. But I don't know, in a world where I'm afraid to leave my house unless I absolutely have to, it's pretty fucking nice to have someone just drop the groceries off at your door. Groceries are done. It's one less trip you gotta do. Maximizes your weekend a little more. Gives you more time to do laundry and yard work and free time and relaxing, especially when you have a job like mine where it takes so much of your fucking time that you barely ever have a weekend to begin with. So I'm really feeling this. It's a little contradictory to how I generally feel about these types of services and such, but I'd be a liar if I said I wasn't really loving the convenience and also just the quality. Like the groceries come and like they're kind of like fucking cold. They come in these refrigerated box trucks, and the groceries are like super cold by the time they get to you, and everything's fresh. Like the robots in these warehouses do a great job of picking awesome produce for you. Way better than, like the Reddit stories, the horror stories you see on Instacart where it's like, oh no, my Instacart shopper's a man. And then the guy picks like the worst fucking avocado or whatever. So you don't really have that problem. It's really nice all things around. And then I guess on top of that, what's really nice is just having access to Kroger's items again, because God, I love Publix. If I were a multi-billionaire, I'd shop at Publix every week. I love Publix, but I just can't afford to fucking shop there. Publix, of course, for those who don't know, a very popular grocery store chain that got started in Lakeland, Florida, and is really, really all over the fucking place in Florida. But they're all over the Southeast. I used to shop there when I lived in Georgia. They're in Virginia. They're in North Carolina. So they're kind of all over the South, but they're very, very big in Florida, and they kind of monopolized the grocery sector for the most part in this state. So there aren't a whole lot of competitors out there. But Kroger, a great competitor that exists in most other parts of the country. I think they're Ralph's on the West Coast, but they're called Kroger on the East Coast. They're an excellent grocery that we don't have here in Florida, but thanks to delivery systems, we can now get our Kroger groceries and good stuff. Anyway, we'll move on. Nice little detour from the Xbox talk. Look, something I'm positive about, something I'm enjoying, something that I'm not worried Microsoft is going to rip away from me in 2 days. So there's that. Guys, let's stop pussyfooting around. Let's stop talking about the groceries and start talking about the bacon. You order the groceries and there's only one item you really give a shit about, and it's the bacon. And I've been baconing so much with Battlefield 6. So it was awesome, man. Thursday night, come home from work. I requested Friday off in advance. Went to the movie theater, saw Tron Ares. It was good. It was fine. It wasn't it's so funny because dude, I just gotta say this real quick. Tron Ares, and I promise this is Xbox related, they would take my favorite sci-fi film franchise and do exactly to Tron what they fucking did to Halo, which is my favorite sci-fi video game series. Tron Legacy, the last entry in the Tron series, so desperately demands 1, 2, possibly 3 sequels based on the way the movie ends. And I love Tron Legacy. Tron Legacy is one of my all-time favorite movies. Fucking beautiful movie. It's such a Jesse movie. However, Tron Ares is the Halo Infinite of the Tron universe, where it's like, yeah, remember that story we told you 15 years ago? Fuck that. Here's a new story. And we're kind of harkening back to basics by touching with like the first entry of the series again, with some kind of echoing of what that story was all about. And it's like, why are you doing this to me? Tron Ares is a fine movie. The music's fucking awesome. The Nine Inch Nails soundtrack is really good in that movie. But it's just not the Tron sequel anyone was fucking asking for. So that's cool. Anyway, watched Tron Ares, came home. Like, holy shit, I'm so excited. We saw a new Tron movie. Tomorrow I'm going to wake up. We're going to get Battlefield 6. We're going to get a new Yellow Card record. I'm going to listen to this new Tron record a million times. I woke up, dude, from 11 a.m. on Friday morning until like 8 p.m. on Sunday. Just Battlefield. Battlefield 6. Battlefield 6. Battlefield 6. I took breaks to stare at the sun and walk around a little bit, but otherwise, Battlefield 6. It's so good, man. I poured 20 hours into it this weekend. And I gotta say, I have lots of thoughts about this game, honestly, and I actually would rather start with the negative just because there's not a whole lot to get into here. And that's just that I feel like the tuning they've done with this game since the beta kind of puts it back more in the traditional Battlefield camp. I think a lot of old school Battlefield fans will be happy with a lot of the tweaking and balancing they've done to this game since the betas, because it does feel like the game plays a little bit more like the Battlefield games of yesterday I'm used to, where it's like you spawn, you run around, you get shot from someone you couldn't have possibly seen from 20 miles away. Now you got to wait 10 seconds to respawn. Glint has been removed. Time to kill feels a little all over the place, which might just be like early server issues since the game just came out. It's popular. I don't know. But these are like minor little things that I feel like they can work on and fix and tweak over time. But generally speaking, this game is absolutely fantastic. I played the campaign all in 2 sittings on Sunday. And I just real quick, let's talk about the campaign. The campaign is entirely fine. I saw IGN gave it like a 5 out of 10. I mean, I know that's a subjective opinion, but like, that's absolute nonsense. I mean, for you to be given fucking Call of Duty like a 8 or a 9 every year and then give Battlefield's campaign a 5, like, no. This campaign is entirely serviceable from a narrative standpoint. It is nothing special. It's engaging throughout, I'll say that. But it's nothing fancy. It's nothing special whatsoever. It's very 5 out of 10 from a narrative standpoint. But from a level design and gameplay standpoint, it's like a solid 7. It's a really fun time. I really enjoyed it. My only complaint with the campaign is that it kind of had some performance issues, whereas the multiplayer ran great on my PC because I've been playing it through Steam. The campaign has some issues, man. When you boot into the campaign, first of all, like, takes you out of the multiplayer into like a separate launcher is what it feels like. And then like it takes forever to load up. And then I got a lot of frame stutters and tears and things like that. And there's this one cutscene towards a very pivotal part at the end of the second act of the game where this very important cutscene's happening, and I just have no audio the whole fucking time. And then I looked it up online, and apparently everyone else is having the same issue at the same exact cutscene, so it's a known thing. So it's just like things like that where I'm like, there are some early bugs with this campaign. A couple updates will definitely fix this stuff, no doubt. But, you know, being a day 3 player of the campaign, I was subjected to a lot of those little performance hiccups and bugs and things like that. But otherwise, I think the level design, it's really strong. It's very varied. The campaign's like about 5-6 hours long. It's 9 missions. You get your obligatory stealth mission and your tank mission and your, you know, and your guns a-blazing mission and this one and that one. So you get a little bit of everything. You get some desert stuff, some jungle stuff, some all that. I like this campaign a lot because early in the campaign is evocative just thematically and kind of setting wise of like parts of like the Battlefield Bad Company games. But then some parts of the campaign feel evocative of like Battlefield 1 with how dramatic it can get. And then some parts of the game, honestly, there are some parts of this game, especially some of the open, more larger maps towards the end of the game, where I got some like Halo Reach vibes. I'm like, there's something about this game where it kind of feels like a campaign, for better or for worse. For me, it's for better. Like the kind of like first person multiplayer campaign style games we used to play, like the Halo Reaches, the Battlefield 3s, and the Gears of Wars and stuff that we used to play during the Xbox 360 era. It felt like a very pretty modernized version of like an Xbox 360 era shooter, and I just had an absolute blast sitting down with this in one day across 2 sittings and going through this campaign. Characters, there's some cool characters, a lot of characters that are like, who gives a shit about? Like I said, story is nothing to write home about. They could have gone a little further with some of the equipment and some of the other vehicles in the campaign. Like there's no plane mission or anything like that, which is a little odd. But for the most part, they cover kind of all the core bases of Battlefield. You get to play with mostly a little bit of everything. And I had a lot of fun with the levels themselves. And so I give this campaign a big old fat 7 out of 10 stamp of approval. Definitely worth a one and done. I really love that once you beat the campaign, the game puts in the main menu. It's like, hey, do you want to uninstall the campaign to save some room now that you're probably just going to play multiplayer and never touch campaign again? So I thought that was funny. I left it installed because I might go back and collect some more collectibles, because there's a lot of easy, this game's achievements list isn't too rough, so I'm like, I'll fuck around and try to get some more achievements, even though it's through Steam, so they're not Xbox achievements, but I wanted to fuck around with that some more, so I left it installed. But really, the big highlight here is just the multiplayer. And what I love about this game is this really does feel like a Battlefield game that is a true Battlefield game at its core. It doesn't betray what Battlefield is, but it does a great job of also making the game more accessible to the Call of Duty audience and to more casual shooter fans, so that Battlefield can expand its audience. And I feel like this game does this so masterfully. I've seen a lot of people complain because a lot of the maps, especially on like Conquest and Breakthrough, are more like mid-sized maps. They're not as large as they were in previous games, like especially like Battlefield 2042 and stuff. And, you know, to people like me, that's a huge plus, because I think sometimes Battlefield maps are big just for the sake of being big, and that you can make them a little more scaled down and focused. And I think this game does an excellent job of that. I think it's a huge step in the right direction for Battlefield, but I could totally see why series veterans would think that this is a step backwards. So there's that to keep in mind. But the guns are super fun. There's so many fun weapons. There's so many fun, just different ways to engage with the game, where like it feels very much like Modern Warfare 2 2022 in terms of its unlock system, where it's like, unlock this gun. Then to unlock this next gun, you have to do this challenge for this other gun that's in a different class. And then you got to unlock that skin for that gun. But then you can unlock this gun by doing that challenge for this other gun. And then that gun can get you attachments for that first gun. And so it's very much like you got to really fuck around with a little bit of everything to get the unlocks you want for the different items and guns. And I could see again why that's something that would annoy a lot of people. A lot of people probably just want to straight level up to unlock things. But I love this this game of like, now I got to fuck around with this toy. Now I got to switch over this toy and fuck around for a while, because it really forces you to play with the whole sandbox. And I find that to be a lot of fun. It's something I used to not like about Call of Duty and Battlefield games. I used to like to find my favorite 2 or 3 weapons and just stick to that. But these days, I really love kind of dabbling in everything and trying to, like, I'm not a sniper, but I like to play with the sniper rifles and get a sense for all the ones that are in the game. And so this style of unlocking is fun. It keeps things fresh and interesting while also giving you a lot to keep track of and to work towards. So if you're one of those people who gets to play or who likes to play multiplayer games for the unlock system, this game's got a lot for you to dig into. And then the grinding it's slow. It's a lot slower than Call of Duty. The time it takes to level up, the XP and everything, it is much slower than I'm used to in games like Call of Duty. So after 20 hours, I'm only like level 16 or something. It's embarrassing, but I'm not really that good at the game anyway. So, but still, it's a really fun game. I love the maps. I love the look and feel of the game. I love the weapons. It is without a doubt the game I've had the most fun playing this year. Like, as of now, Battlefield 1 is easily my number 1 game of the year, just because it's hit the spot at such a good time, and I'm just absolutely adoring it. I'm really excited about Battlefield or Black Ops 7, especially after that beta last week. But man, if I'm being honest with you, I think I'm going to spend more time on Battlefield than Call of Duty this year. And I think when all is said and done, this is going to be the first-person shooter of the era for me. Like, it's just so good. I haven't enjoyed a FPS this much since Black Ops Cold War, and I can't imagine that anything else is about to top it. But we're eating so good because Black Ops 7 is really good. It's actually better than the last couple of years of Call of Duty. And so it's like we got a great Call of Duty on the way. We have an excellent Battlefield 6. My favorite Battlefield, honestly. I'm a big softie for Bad Company 2 and all that. But this game, I mean, it's got to beat. It's everything Battlefield is and needs to be, and it has evolved in all the right ways. And I'm simply adoring this game. So Battlefield 6, can't get enough of it, can't say enough about it. I'm really curious to know from all you guys, what are your thoughts on Battlefield 6? I'm sure many of you are playing it. So I'm playing it on PC because I'm a trader, and I don't regret it at all. I'm just having a great time. And honestly, as soon as I get back this weekend from my work trip, my plans involve ignoring the lawn and playing some Battlefield 6. So I can't wait for this weekend for that reason. But guys, that's going to do it for everything this week. I think we should round out with the best and last segment, the comments, the shoutouts from youtube.com, Xbox On Podcast at youtube.com. Click on the latest episode to leave a comment. Please feel free to rate and review the show on podcast services if you feel so inclined to do so. I'd really appreciate it. But let's start out. I think we got 6 comments this week. Kicking things off, we got Decoy Doctopus. Sorry about last week. I don't know why your comment, sometimes YouTube just kind of hides some comments and I got to go digging to find them, so I apologize for that. But in reaction to the Saudi Arabia EA situation, which, again, that makes me sad about Battlefield, but it is what it is. I don't know how to engage with it. This is the world we live in where I have no power, and my dollar, voting with your dollar is a sentiment, but it doesn't really mean a whole lot anymore. I don't know. But anyway, on that topic, you said, I think Saudi Arabia is mostly hands off, but there was a center ring ad for Fatal Fury at some WWE event, and they put Cristiano Ronaldo, who plays in their soccer club, in Fatal Fury. We'll have to wait and see if the next Mass Effect in Dragon Age has any gay or trans characters. I don't think for a single second that the Saudi government or that any of these investors are going to try in any way to interfere with the creative content of EA games. I think if they have gay characters or female protagonists or whatever, they're going to continue to do whatever they're doing. I don't think they're going to govern any of that. They might use that to govern what can and can't come in their country. But as far as, they bought EA because they want to make money. So they're not going to step on the toes of and get in the way of EA doing what it needs to do to be a profitable company. So I'm not worried about them being hands-on and trying to push any social or agenda of any kind like that. I'm worried about the fact that you can, in this country, in the United States, you can build a corporation from scratch with your bare hands and build it into something that explodes into something huge, a publicly traded company that employs thousands of people and creates countless entertainment and jobs for American people, and then exports that entertainment globally to people all over the world and says, hey, we're an American company that wants to take our creative ideas and products and share them with a globalized world for everyone to consume and enjoy. And then, of course, there's also Canadians that work at EA as well. But anyway, the point being that it is a authentic American product and cultural export, and is a business that has helped sustain our economy and offer jobs to American people. And I feel very uncomfortable with a world where we lie to ourselves and we elect politicians who allow us to be brain rotted, mentally incapacitated individuals who say things like, oh, we're a free country and we're making America great again, while we allow our government officials and foreign nefarious governments to come in and buy American corporations and funnel all the profits and the good that these companies create into their own fucking coffers, while the American people struggle to afford housing and groceries and childcare and healthcare and all the rest, because we're a country that likes to lie to ourselves and tell ourselves we're free. And then when our corrupt government tells their borderline state-owned mainstream media to tell you that asking for more, expecting more of your government is socialism, communism, and that you're a bad person if you support that, brainwashing the American people into thinking that way, so that they vote against and go against their own self-interest and what's best for them, because we're a country just fucking hell-bent on shooting ourselves in the foot and remaining as ignorant as humanly possible, and combining all of that with our immense amount of influence and power that we have on the world stage, we take the rest of the world down with us, and then we wonder why other countries look at us and laugh at us, and it's just no fucking surprise. So anyway, I'm not worried about Saudi Arabia saying no gay characters in Mass Effect. No, that doesn't bother me or go across my mind or concern me at all. What I'm concerned about is Saudi Arabia. Why don't you go buy some fucking dumbass Saudi company that makes like fucking black robes to put on your women, and let American companies make like cool American shit like muscle cars and fast food cheeseburgers and dildos and stuff that we make in this country. And that's what I think is we should just have a little bit more pride in our country, a little bit more protectionism for our people and our economy and our cultural exports. And maybe just maybe just tell foreign governments like, hey, if you're gonna act in a way and conduct yourself in a way that is morally reprehensible and just does not align with who we are as a culture and as a society, then we don't want to do business with you. Because if anyone in this goddamn country who rules, anyone in this country who has any political power had any fucking balls, they would be able to rule with more than just their salivation for the almighty dollar, and maybe have some bit of a backbone and some moral stance and some dignity. But unfortunately, this country's so far fucking gone that more than half the country is voting for the fucking family that's motherfucking investing with Saudi Arabia in EA. So we gotta stop talking about it, because I'm just gonna get irate and start telling people they're retarded. So we gotta move on now, because I just want to play Battlefield 6. That's all I know. Also, just a little side note, a wrap-up note. There's nothing more laughable than the idea of the company that makes the military shooter where the American good guys fight against the, like the Middle Eastern bad guys and shit, then gets bought out by the evil, greedy, socially maliciously intended oil tycoon government. So I just think that's also just kind of poignant and funny in a way. But anyway, Snow Patroller writes in and says, I still blame Don Matrick for the first nail in the coffin for Xbox back in 2013. Snow Patroller, this is your first time writing in, I think? Welcome. Yeah, I know. Xbox, TV, we know. Yes, obviously that is a huge turning point in the Xbox brand, and it is a blow that very few would have been able to recover from, and I don't think Xbox has done a great job fully recovering from that. It would have taken a lot of goodwill over a long time and a lot of great course correction in order to fix that. And while I think Xbox had all the tools and the potential to turn the ship around, they squandered it. And so, yes, while Don was the first domino to fall, I don't think Xbox has done themselves any favor in turning the ship around, despite Don's evil doing. And so, yeah, or wrongdoing, I should say, not evil doing. But yeah, Snow Patrol, you're not wrong. And then EBF, I think another first-time writer, says, such a shame to see how far they move fallen since 360. I miss those days. Oh, how far that they have fallen since the Xbox 360. I miss those days. Bro, we all miss the Xbox 360. That's why all of us motherfuckers are here, is because we're all nostalgic for Halo 3, and we just want game fuel and fucking 3 Days Grace or whatever. Cronky writes it and says, you got me in the mood to play Black Ops Zombies. So I booted up the third and fourth games. God, do people really prefer the newer versions of Zombies to this old feel? I played some COD Zombies on Black Ops 3 and 4 with Cronky over the weekend, and I gotta say, I did not realize how different Call of Duty Zombies feels nowadays. Not just in the fact that it basically feels like Warzone Zombies, but in the sense that Zombies is so slick and fast these days. Like, the zombies spawn fast, they die faster, they run faster, you run faster, you can slide around the maps are bigger. Whereas old Zombies just felt more like slow and menacing, and like you could be in an encounter with one zombie in modern Call of Duty games, and it's like, ha, I'm not worried about this. But you can be in an encounter with one zombie in an older Call of Duty game, and it can be like, holy shit, he's got me cornered, I'm fucked. Those games feel scarier. The games feel more like tower defense games in a way now, whereas they used to like RPG tower defense style games, and whereas they used to feel more like survival horror round based games. I don't know, it's different, but I like them both. I'm not here to poo-poo on one and love the other. I think Zombies actually looked way better back in the day on older Call of Duties, but that's because the Modern Warfare 2019 Warzone era has been such a huge downgrade on the aesthetic and the feel of Call of Duty in recent years. That's a problem that affects all of Call of Duty, not just Zombies. But yes, while old Zombies looked better, I think new Zombies, feels modern. It's just easier to pick up and play now. It just feels so modern and fresh. Anyway, Dead Captain James writes in and says, I'd be surprised if the next Xbox even sells 5 million consoles at this point. The brand has never been less appealing than now, sadly. And Cronky said, I agreed. It would take a big vibe shift to get me interested in new Xbox hardware. And even Cargo Runner responded and said, I think there are more than 5 million loyal Xbox fans, Xbox gamers with big digital libraries that don't want to start a new library from scratch. But I share your feelings. I won't buy another traditional Xbox console, but if the next Xbox console is a hybrid PC that can boot into Windows 11 with Excel, Word, photo editing, then I might buy one of those instead of upgrading my PC. Our Cargo Runner, I'm with everything you just said. I think you and I are exactly on the same page. I feel that way too. I'm like, well, if my next Xbox can also be my next PC, why not stick with Xbox? Although I think I'm a little more forgiving than you guys in the sense that even though Xbox has done nothing to earn my dollars at this point, I'm going to buy the next generation of Xbox hardware no matter what, unless the only exception is if Xbox isn't making it. If they're like, the new Xbox is being made by Asus, I'll say, I'm buying a PS5. Fuck you. But, if Xbox is making the next Xbox, I'm buying it no matter what the price is or any of that stuff. So, anyway, but I'm with you, Cargo Runner. I agree with the sentiment of what Dead Captain James is saying 100%. But I think there's more than 5 million. I think this raises a really interesting point. What is the absolute base number of hardcore Xbox fans? Personally, I think it's 20 million. And that's based on nothing but a hunch, but I think it's about 20 million. You can release the biggest turd out there and call it an Xbox. As long as it's the next generation of Xbox hardware, I think you're guaranteed about roughly, give or take, 20 million units sold. But I totally get what you're saying. And I think with decisions that they've been making very recently, I think for the first time in Xbox history, Xbox One was rough. It fucked up a lot of wishy-washy people, a lot of fair weather people, a lot of people who will just go where their friends go. But the hardcore Xbox were there with the Xbox One, regardless of what Don Matrick said. I think Xbox has finally punctured a hole in the fans' hearts enough to where they're finally starting to rub the wrong way and turn away and run off, scare off some of that really hardcore 20+ million fan base. I do believe that. So, man, it would be embarrassing if they only sold 5 million copies or units of the next console. But hey, if it happened, I can't say I'd be too surprised because, like, really, what is the fucking point of buying an Xbox at this point? And our round out comment for the week comes from, again, Cargo Runner UK, who says, I definitely buy more than one game a year, and we're talking about Game Pass again. I definitely buy more than one game a year. Last year was a crazy year. I didn't have a holiday. I didn't have a holiday and just bought games. Too many games. I bought over 500 physical games and spent over 4,500 euro or British pounds, my bad, $600 US, which is a bit insane. But I did trade in 300 games to help pay for the new ones. What is even more crazy is that I didn't have time to play them, as I was always playing the games that were leaving Game Pass. One of the reasons I quit Game Pass a couple months ago. 500 games is a bit of a backlog. That is absolutely insane, Cargo Runner. To each their own. You know, I'm not sure how you got into this situation where this is how you engage with games, but listen, if you're buying that many physical games, again, Game Pass is not the right move because it's just distracting you from the way you want to interact with your games and trying to rewire you to do something different. It's just, whatever, man. Listen, if I could subscribe to a service that let me, it's $20 a month and you can get $10 at Taco Bell every single day included in the subscription. And every day I pay $20 a month, and then every day I can go to the Taco Bell drive-thru and get a Crunchwrap Supreme and an item or two off the value menu. And I can do it every single day. And it's $20 a month. And at the end of the month, if I ate there for 30 days straight, I can go, oh my God, I just ate $300 worth of Taco Bell for only $20. And I'd be like, what an amazing deal. But the thing is, as great of a value as it is, and as cool as it is that such a service exists, at some point you got to go, this is not how I'm supposed to be consuming food. It's okay to eat Taco Bell every once in a while, but I should not be eating Taco Bell every day. And sometimes I don't eat Taco Bell because I want Taco Bell. I eat Taco Bell because I feel obligated and guilty about the fact that I'm paying for the service and I'm not eating Taco Bell. So God forbid you want to go home and eat some broccoli, chicken, and rice. No, eat your fucking Taco Bell because you're paying money for it. And that's kind of, it's like I got all these groceries in my refrigerator, in my pantry, but I don't want to go home and cook because I'm paying $20 a month to have Taco Bell Pass or whatever the fuck it's called. Taco Bell Pass Ultimate. And just that's the thing. I just got Taco Bell Pass Essentials, which just gives you free sauce every time you buy Taco Bell. But anyway, silliness aside, it's like that's kind of the logic where it's like, it's a great idea. It's great value. No doubt about it. But I just don't think this is the way we need to be engaging with these things. And I don't think a seemingly endless pool of games that's constantly telling you, this is what you need to be playing. This is what's new and hot. This is what's leaving, so you better play it before it's gone. I just don't think that's the correct way to engage with games. I think the correct way is to do what I'm doing right now, what I talked about today, which is, Keeper comes out this week. That looks great. I'm not going to play it right now because I'll play it when the time comes to play it. Because right now, I'm just enjoying Battlefield 6. I spent $70 on Battlefield 6. I'm going to play the hell out of it. And then when I'm bored of it or ready to move on to something else, then I'll do that. But for now, I'm not going to let a service tell me what I need to be playing. I'm just going to play what I want to play. And Cargo Runner, I'm glad you came to that realization. I'm glad a lot of people have come to that realization. It looks like we just need to be priced out of the service to really think about it a little harder. But guys, that's it for our final comment. And I appreciate you all writing in and listening this week. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the podcast, start editing. But until next week, I hope you all take well. We'll catch up on whatever all we missed, because God knows every time I record early or late or whatever, I ends up being so out of sync with the news. But we'll figure it out. Until then, I will see you all out on the battlefield. Be well, be safe, and power your dreams.